Vegas Nation podcasts are sponsored by Station Casino's STN Sports. Download the app today and get a bonus up to $500 when you sign up.
Sports, entertainment, little to no culture. It's time for Unsportsmanlike Conduct with Ed Graney and Adam Hill.
Hey, welcome into Unsportsmanlike Conduct of the Vegas Nation, sponsored by Station Casino's STN Sports and presented by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Blue Wire, and Liquid Death. We're your hosts, Ed Graney and Adam Hill. We're here each week to give you our thoughts on Las Vegas Raiders and other factors we find interesting. We got some great stuff at the end of the show today with punter A.J. Cole of the Raiders. You'll have to wait for that, though. What's going on, buddy? You get your Liquid Death?
Oh, it's so good. I'm trying to go as long as I can without. That's my challenge to myself. How long can I go without popping it open?
I think Larry, in the middle of the show, is bringing us glasses of ice to cool this off. No, he's not. We're not doing. Absolutely not. Larry Muir is not doing that.
No, he's chilling the glasses for sure.
That's right.
But the can is such a perfect vessel. Just drink it right out of the can. It's great.
It's true. I'm surprised there isn't a refrigerator in here. You got it. You're here all day. You're here all day.
Working on that. It's in the other room. I'll show you where it is.
So before we get to AJ Cole and all the fun stuff at the Pro Bowl skills contest, which you covered, by the way, for the Review Journal, great job by you. You were able to catch up with Derek Carr last night.
I was.
And it was his first time in front of the media since he was benched for the last two games, since we all knew that he was not going to be a Raider anymore. You were able to corner him, and then the crowd,
not a leopard. You
were able to corner him, and the crowd of media descended upon you. So that happens. That's going to happen.
Sure. I'll just give the insight into the listener. Sometimes I think going behind the scenes of the journalistic process, I guess, is good.
The process?
No, I mean what we do is not mine. I mean what reporters do. We talk about being in the locker room and some of the conversations you have there and stuff. But in this case, Derek was there last night and there was no media access. Like there wasn't a time where, hey, look, these guys are doing a presser, or they're going to do this, and they're actually not even supposed to really talk. But Derek was signing autographs and hanging out with some fans on his way back, and I waited for that to be done, and I just went over and just kind of talked. Like, he a lot of times at the end of the season, you do the locker clean out day, and or you have conversations with guys that you've covered all year, and you've covered Derek for years, and just had a conversation with him and talked about how he's doing and that sort of thing, and I kind of just gave him the option. I mean, you said cornered him. I don't want people to think
I believe you cornered him.
I was
but go
threatening
ahead.
him.
No, not threatening. Cornered.
After after a little bit of a conversation, I just said, "Hey, look, I know you haven't talked much. You haven't really got your side out." I was like, "Do you want to kind of talk on the record for a little bit?" And he thought about it for a second, and he said, "You know what? Yeah, let's do it." And as soon as you turn the recorder on, then yeah, as you said, a bunch of other people come over, but it was cool. It wasn't a whole lot of people there. It was kind of a small gathering, and Derek was able to say kind of what he was thinking. I don't think he didn't go, scorched earth or anything like that on the organization.
I thought he was actually really classy in that sense.
He was, and he said, "Look, if there's more to the story, obviously, and one day I might write a book." Kind of tease that, and when his career is over, do that. But yeah, he talked about what he wants in his next team, which is the team that he says shows commitment to winning, not just has a chance to win, but has a history of committing to trying to win games, and he wants to try to win a title somewhere. And he did say, he's always going to be a Raider. He's not going to be. I think it was a shot at Rich Gannon.
A veiled shot, probably. Yeah.
He said, "I'm not going to be that Raider quarterback that leaves and bashes the new guys."
Right. Okay. All right. Veiled shot,
which I think was, Rich Gannon had some criticism of him.
Yes.
So I think maybe that was what he was referring to there. But yeah, really kind of open and talking about where he wants to go, and obviously the kind of the news aspect. Not that it's a surprise, but he said there's no adjusting on that February 15th deadline. That's the deadline. And if they haven't made a trade, then he's going to be released. And he did say last night he was able to talk to Peyton Manning. Now, obviously, the situation is a little bit different, but Peyton Manning was released
by the Colts.
And Peyton Manning being the coach of the AFC team, he was able to talk, and Derek talked to him, and Peyton said, "Look, I've been cut. Like it is what it is."
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, and Derek, Derek kind of said, to hear him and that he's gone through it was helpful, and Derek also said, "Look, I'm not going to look at it as some sort of slight. Like I don't care about the optics. If I'm cut, if it's what's best for me, then that's great.
And his family.
Go and negotiate where he wants to go and pick a spot to play instead of being traded somewhere."
All right, so none of that I don't think came as a surprise for you. Anything he said, a surprise? Here, let me ask you this, because he did tell you that he wants to go somewhere where he can win a championship.
Sure.
Has not won a playoff game yet. So he wants, he's 9-10 years into the league.
First things first.
Yeah, 9-10 years into the league, you start thinking those terms. He's going to get paid a fortune no matter what. So I think he understands that, whether he signs as a free agent with someone for 2 or 3 years for 30 something, 38, 39 million a year, which he'll probably be in the realm of, or if for whatever reason this is picked up, which I don't believe it will be, he's going to make a lot of money. So he wants to play for a championship team. I think that eliminates a lot of the teams out there looking for quarterbacks. I mean, did you get the sense maybe that he had some teams in mind that actually might be on the precipice of a playoff deep run, or do you think he just kind of said that and it's going to be a free for all in terms of who he's going to be available for?
Yeah, I think it's what everybody says, right? You want to play for a team that has a chance, and then you kind of say to yourself, yeah, I give them a chance. Like, I think that's
he gives the Commanders a chance.
Well, first of all, any team in the NFC is a contender. Like, there's not that many obstacles to overcome.
I'm trying to think of it. I mean, Philly's good. That was your pick for the Super Bowl. My Cowboys are pretty good. San Francisco, you don't know because of the quarterback situation now.
But like the NFC South, any team in the NFC. First of all, I think all the NFC South teams except for Jacksonville, or excuse me, that's AFC.
No.
I'm saying any NFC South team, the Bucks, the Panthers,
except Atlanta, maybe.
The Saints. Yeah, except Atlanta is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Except Atlanta, that's probably a chance, and you can win the division in any of those teams. And once you're in the playoffs, who knows what happens there? The Commanders, they have a great defense. I mean, I think
they're in a hard division for them,
and I think they're already paying a significant amount of money there. So I don't know how that would go, but yeah, they're right there. They were right in the mix.
Yeah.
So anybody in the NFC, I think, is fairly close, especially if Rodgers is gone from the NFC. Like, the 49ers have quarterback questions. The Eagles are going to have to pay. I think Jalen Hurts' deal will be starting in 2 years, but
they're going to have to pay him.
They can sign the extension this year,
right?
And it'll kick in next year. So. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of opportunities in any NFC place to make a contender. Now, I know there's a push from some Colts fans that want him. That makes it difficult because you can probably win the division, but it's a tough hill to climb to win a championship.
Jeff
same with the Jets.
Is the coach.
Same with the Jets. It's a tough hill to climb.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not the coach yet. Oh, by
Jeff
the way,
Sunday's not the coach yet, but I think he will be.
I have heard some late push
on
our guy, Rich Bisaccia,
for the Colts. You know who really praised
it's funny
him?
that we're recording this on Friday morning. It's going to be like everybody's going to listen to this. Like, you idiot! They already hired a coach.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But yeah, as we're recording this, he's had a couple of interviews, and there's been a push. And I don't know if I talk about Pat McAfee show all the time, which is based in Indy, and they talk about the Colts.
Rodgers really did him up on the Pat McAfee
Rodgers
show.
really gave him.
up.
He said somebody needs to hire this guy,
right?
And so I think that especially with the influence McAfee has in Indianapolis, that could be something. And then does Bisaccia pair up with Carr? Does that happen? That'd be interesting.
The Colts? I don't know.
There's a lot of possibilities out there.
We talked about this last week. The owner spends too much time in the bathroom. I don't know if I want to go to that team.
Well, if he pays enough.
He's in the bathroom all the time.
It's only one time that we know of.
That's not as
so
only
would
time.
if Bisaccia and or Carr are heading to Indy, does McDaniels call and say, "Hey man, watch out for your bathroom"?
He might give him a heads up. Okay. I don't know if Carr takes McDaniels' call, but he'd probably
on that. If he was offering friendly advice about the length of time in the bathroom, he might listen.
He might listen on that. All right. So ultimately, what do you think happens here? They cut him? Yeah. And by the way, why aren't they cutting him before this weekend? Because again, and you've reported this as well, others have reported on our paper, there's that clause in the contract. If he would ever get hurt, the $40 million would be guaranteed. Now, it's flag football, 40 yards. They're not going to take this seriously, but a lot of times those injuries happen when you're not in pads and you put your foot in the ground and something happens to you. I don't want that to happen. No one wants that to happen, but I'm just saying it's out there. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just cut him now? If you're going to cut him, if you've already come to that conclusion, why haven't you cut him?
Well, there is still the chance.
You're still waiting for someone to really step up with the trade.
There's a chance somebody does. I thought it was interesting, and I'll say this. I asked Derek specifically last night, have they come to you with a trade that you said no to? Because he does have that right. If they make a trade and he doesn't like it, he can say no. And I said, have they come to you with a trade that you said no? And his answer was, you have to talk to Dave Ziegler about that. So it wasn't no.
That's interesting.
It wasn't a no, which I found that pretty interesting.
That's interesting.
It's something obviously we will talk to Dave about and find out if there was something there. But not saying no to that question, I found interesting.
Yeah. So you think you think someone trades for him, or you think he gets cut?
I think he gets cut.
All right. Would you ever take the chance of not cutting him and trading him after that down the road? Because once you don't cut him, the $40 million's locked in, and you can turn around. You're not going to have this guy. I guess the chance of he shows up and does nothing, which I don't think anyone wants that to happen. And he shows up at the facility. That's not going to happen. They're going to move on from him since then. But would you wait past it and then trade him? Well,
the thing is, like, again, that deadline is just for, and I think we've not done a great job, I guess, talking about it. We're trying to point out exactly what the details of the contract are, but we've kind of assumed either they cut him to not let that contract kick in, or they trade him, which they'd have to wait for a month to hope a team still accepts it after a month because of the weird timing of the dates.
Yeah, the NFL calendar.
There is the chance, and I don't think the Raiders would do this, but there is the chance that, as you're pointing out, they don't cut him or trade him, let the contract become guaranteed, and then try to trade him.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking. What would you do?
There is a chance. I don't know that I would do that because I don't want to take that chance. But especially if you think there is a team, that is a lot of money. And again, would he get more than $40 million guaranteed over the length of a contract? Probably, but I don't think he's getting it for 1 year. I don't think he's getting that $32 million for 1 year guaranteed next year. So it's tough. If you have a feeling that there's a big market, again, the Raiders are talking to teams every day. We are not. Like, if you get the feeling that there's a big market out there for him and somebody will trade for him, then you can absolutely do that. That's definitely a possibility. I just think it's a huge risk, especially if you're not getting anybody now. Are you going to get somebody in a couple weeks? And if you want to make a big move, Aaron Rodgers, which I don't necessarily know is going to happen, but if you do, you have to get rid of Carr first because you need him off the books in order to make that move.
Was it good for the Raiders that Brady retired?
No.
You wanted Brady?
No. Well, so yeah, it wasn't a slam dunk that he was coming here, especially with 49ers now opening.
If he was coming.
I don't think Brady was the right move for the Raiders, but it's bad in the sense that there's one less quarterback available. I think that's where the issue is, because now whoever is available, the cost is going to be higher.
True.
So you're going to have to pay more either through salary or through a trade. Right. You want to get somebody. So because there's one less elite
quarterback on the
market. So it's bad in that sense. I think it's good that, Brady's not going to be the guy. I don't think that was the right move for this team. But in terms of you are actively seeking a quarterback, any team that's in the quarterback market wanted one more guy as part of that kind of musical chairs, and he's not there anymore.
What'd you think of the skills contest?
It's silly, but
Pro Bowl skills contest we're talking about. Adam was there last night.
Over at the Raiders facility. That's where I talked to Derek. I mean, I like some of this stuff. Like, the silliness is fine with me. I also liked, and I think Hint writing a column on Sundays now, and I think
what are you writing it on?
I think it might be the officiating controversies last night.
There was officiating controversies in the skills contest?
Multiple.
Who are the officials? They
clowns.
Can't be NFL officials.
No, I think they were clowns. I don't know who they were. There was
clowns.
A massive controversy in NFL and the NFC dodgeball game. Like, it was, Demario Davis's rule the winner, and then later Saquon Barkley screams at the officials. They come out and award him the win.
Oh no!
Nonsense, I didn't love that.
Nonsense.
But it's their marquee games always marked by controversy with the officials,
including this one.
The dodgeball game was a mess. Josh Jacobs gave it a good go. He's the last member of the AFC offense to be out there against 3 defensive players.
Oh, no chance.
Got knocked out. Max Crosby was, I'm going to say, disappointing.
In the dodgeball game?
And I actually I caught up with him for a minute after the dodgeball game, and he almost was like not ready. He was like, I don't think you processed it yet.
About how bad he was?
I just said, what happened, man? Like, that was bad. He was not thrilled, I don't think, with that. But
the ego kicking in.
Yeah, he wanted to win. He said his strategy wasn't very good. He did a little better in the second one because I think he hung back. He wasn't over aggressive, opened himself up to get hit early. So he lasted a little longer.
Wasn't there some kind of tic-tac-toe
Well, that's Sunday.
Oh, is that Sunday?
They were doing it last night. I think it was practice, though.
Oh, so they're having some of this weirdness on Sunday?
Oh, yeah. The Pro Bowl games are...
Well, the Pro Bowl game is
the
game. The Pro Bowl game is the flag football. That's the ultimate final game.
You really need to read my stories to catch up on this stuff, Ed. So there was...
What am I going to do?
There was 4 events last night.
Okay.
So it's 9-3.
I read your car story from first word to last.
You did. It's 9-3, but the real important stuff, like the format of the Pro Bowl games, it's 9-3 AFC right now.
Okay.
As we speak here on Friday.
Boy, they're running away with it.
Well, it was almost 12-0. If they would have won the dodgeball, it would have been 12-0 after the first night. That wouldn't have been good. So then they're going to have more events on Sunday.
Before the flag football game.
There's the kick-tack-toe. There's the gridiron gauntlet. There's the move the chains.
All right.
So you got those events. Those are all worth 3 points as well.
Right.
Then there's the first 2 flag football games.
Okay.
Also worth 3 points. So we're going to have a total of 24 points.
Up for grabs.
Oh,
this is exciting.
And then whatever the score
Larry, you
is.
excited? Yeah,
whatever the score is after those 24 points are determined, that is the starting score of the championship flag football game.
Ah.
So there's 3 flag football games on Sunday.
Championship.
First
so
2,
AFC could go in. Man, they could go in big.
It could be like 18-6, 21-3. They could be up big when this starts. Or could be a big rally by the NFC.
You looking forward to this?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Listen, it's silly. The Pro Bowl's always been silly, but it's also fun.
I'm with you. If you don't like it, then don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm totally with you on that. No matter what they play, people who rip it, it's like, you know what? Then turn the channel. Yeah. There's college basketball on. There's something else.
And by the way, the fans have showed that they love it. Like they watch it. How many fans last night? It was a limited.
Invite only?
But it was sold. I mean, it was packed. There was nobody else could get in
at the facility.
But logistically, they could only get.
They were all standing around the field.
No, they had bleachers. You should have seen the setup at the facility.
They brought the bleachers in.
Oh yeah, it was nuts in there.
Okay.
They brought the rigging in for the lights and the cameras, and it was
crazy. It was ESPN, right? So
yeah, it was in the NFL Live studio. It was right in there in the facility on the field. It was a very cool setup. And good for the city, a good showcase for the Raiders and the city and Henderson and Las Vegas and everything else. So all those things are cool. And again, if you don't like it, then don't watch it, and that's fine. And it's silly, but they're trying something new. Like they realized the football game was dumb.
Oh, it was horrible last year.
And touch football. And so they're trying. So I think you give them credit for at least trying.
Yeah.
They talk to players like,
fine.
What should we do? And it's silly and it's fun.
That's good. Also silly, sometimes is Raiders punter AJ Cole.
That's true.
He talked with our own Heidi
Pro
Fang.
Bowl punter.
AJ Cole. He talked with our own Heidi Fang earlier today. We've got some cuts that we want to talk about with AJ Cole, and I'll get your response on those. You opening that Liquid Death?
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, the sound.
So
just
good.
the sound
it's
of
delicious.
it.
I usually hold it up to the microphone to do it, but I didn't do that.
It's a crisp sound. Let me hear it. There you go.
So good.
Liquid Death. All right, let's go with some of these sounds. And then we'll respond. First of all,
by the way, you'd think death. It's going to be like a torturous experience. It's not. It's a glorious experience.
Great experience. Sparkling water,
so good.
Straight from the Alps.
AJ Cole probably loves Liquid Death,
along with some hot dogs.
Oh, he does. He does love hot dogs.
First cut is AJ Cole talking about what in the world he's going to do on Sunday.
What does the punter do in the flag football game?
No, literally nothing. Yeah. So last year I had the stat line about the 3 holds, 0 punts, and the 2 halftime hot dogs. So because I had no punts this year, they've just completely eliminated the punt.
Aww.
We're playing on like a 40-yard field or something like that. So there's not really field position that's going to be crucial. So I honestly have no idea what I'm doing on game day. I think I'm basically just like a glorified cheerleader. Maybe I'll go talk to Peyton, see if he can put me in for a couple plays at quarterback, or maybe I could run a couple routes.
Yes.
Devontae said I could sub in for him on one play. So hopefully they throw me like a fade ball or something. I can kind of show him what I can do. But I was a high school tight end, so if any of the tight ends need a blow, I can come in there and give them some rest. But I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to have as much fun as I possibly can. That's for sure.
All right, there he is. Peyton has to put this guy in the game.
Oh, he's got to. I mean,
he's got to be quarterback.
Well, I think the punters and the kickers will all be in the kick-tack-toe competition.
Okay, so he gets to do something.
So he can do something. I think that's one of the reasons it was kind of brought in. So that
so they're not completely sitting around?
Yeah, but you're not kicking field goals either.
No. Kick-tack-toe.
Yeah, so we'll have that. And then I think
you have to play him. You have to
the
play
kickers and punters have to get in there on some level.
I want to see him at quarterback. Be great.
He play tight end. He can play tight end.
All right, he plays tight end.
Maybe he can also play defensive back, Ed.
Oh, there's a throw to Larry Muir. Maybe he can play defensive back.
I did not know you were a high school tight end. That's great. So you could actually go in. Would you prefer to play a tight end or wide receiver in this game if you get a chance?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, that's pretty much the same in flag football. So I guess I'll say tight end. But it's pretty much the same.
Okay. This is a question from our own Adam Hill. I'm sure you remember Adam from this past season. He wanted to know if you will. He wanted to know if you will get a chance to play at defensive back.
I don't think I have the hips to play DB. My hips do lie. I'm no Shakira out there, so I don't think that's really my forte. I don't think that's going to be anything that I'll do. Maybe if there's like a Hail Mary situation, I can go play goal line. I mean, I'm like relatively tall, so maybe I could do that, but absolutely no. In no other situation should I be guarding anyone.
No, it doesn't have the hips. You think you'd have some swivel in your hips as a punter?
You think
you'd be swiveling
ahead.
a little?
No, if you swivel,
is it?
If you swivel, you're shanking it.
I'm swiveling right now.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm swiveling. I'm swiveling to see if I can.
We've heard in the past you were dance contest champion.
I did win a dance contest
not what
champion.
You're doing.
Yes, I have. This was my move. This was my move.
You don't want to. You won. You won
with my leather jacket. Yeah. I won in Tijuana. I won.
It's good. It's
won
a good dance.
It's great.
I can see how that happened. I'm sure you weren't intoxicated at all at that time. Too many liquid deaths. All those are just water. So he's not going to play defensive back. Apparently,
it appears not.
He is probably going to play tight end. But last year, I don't know how many people remember this. He was kind of the highlight of the Pro Bowl because they went to him on the sideline for an interview and he was just chowing down hot dogs.
Yeah, you know who else crushes hot dogs? Joey Chestnut.
Okay, the second question from Adam is, how come we have all these silly competitions but no hot dog eating contests? Does AJ think that Joey Chestnut would want any smoke from you?
Absolutely not. Joey Chestnut is an absolute legend of the game. I watched recently his little intro from the Nathan's hot dog eating contest where they start off and they call him the humble consequence of carbon. That's a glowing review of him. But look, Joey Chestnut, he can eat 70 hot dogs in whatever, a couple minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is.
Right.
But the question is, can he put ketchup, mustard, and relish and enjoy 2 hot dogs in 5 minutes? Because that's really where I shine, is it's the enjoyment factor and the garnishing of the hot dog. So, if we play the game on my terms, I probably win. If we play the game on his terms, he probably wins.
What do you put on your hot dog?
People don't like this.
Well, let me have it.
I mean, I think ketchup is the proper condiment for hot dogs. And usually I would be an anti-ketchup person, I think, because it seems so basic. But I think it's the right move.
Yeah, I go ketchup relish.
I don't mind a relish. Actually, we'll go what are the flat pickles instead of a relish?
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, that's a good move too.
I put the ketchup on the ribeye.
Okay, that's not acceptable.
Okay,
that's completely unacceptable.
You want to know a trick to get the ketchup on the ribeye because nobody likes it? They find it disgusting. When you order the ribeye, instead of the mashed potatoes, you order the fries. So you put the ketchup on the plate, and they think you're dipping the fries.
So you're so ashamed of your food preference that you have to hide it.
You know what else? You know what else? Sometimes when no one's looking on the ribeye, little ranch dressing. Little ranch dressing. Larry's okay with that. That's okay.
Ranch and ketchup.
I'll double dip. I'll be Costanza. I'll double dip sometimes. Yeah, on the ribeye.
I almost need to end the show.
No, we've got one more clip from AJ Cole.
You think that they made the field so short and turned it into flag football, one, because of Max Crosby really destroying the game last season, and then secondly, because they knew that if you punted, you would have home field advantage, and they know you could do 63-yard punts?
Boy, that's a great question. So, yeah, I'd say that it's a massive conspiracy to keep Max from being back-to-back MVP. the field shortening, the home field advantage is definitely a big factor. I mean, I have punted more footballs in Allegiant Stadium than anybody else. And so at some point, somebody might take that throne from me. But right now, I got the record. So I guess I do have a home field advantage. So probably it's not fair for us. And so that's why they shortened the field. That's why they changed the game. And
The whole game.
it feels, I don't know, it feels a little bit positionist, and it feels a little bit discriminatory towards what I do. I'm not going to lie about that, but I do understand that when people turn on the Pro Bowl on February 5th, nobody's out there on third down saying, okay, come on, let's hold them defense. I'd love to see a punt right now in this all-star game. So I'm self-aware enough to know that, but it does hurt my feelings just a little bit. I am human.
All right, that's AJ Cole, the Pro Bowl punter from the Raiders. Let's be honest, they were 6-11. No one's discriminating against them. I think they've got 5 Pro Bowlers.
Well, they only had 3. Then they had to get 2 replacements.
They ended up with 5.
Sure. I think it's
6-11. They ended up with 5. They should be happy.
But I think the point is that Max Crosby did ruin the Pro Bowl.
By being so serious about it?
He played at everybody else plays at 30%, and he went 70% last year. And showed just how much of a farce the game was by dominating at 70%, and that's why I think a lot of people said, "Okay, this is dumb." Like nobody's ever done that before, where they just said, "Oh, I'm actually going to kind of try," and then ruining the entire game. So I do blame Max for doing that. I know he gets he gets a little flustered when I say that, like you ruined the Pro Bowl. I've told him that multiple times, but I think he also appreciates yeah, he did. That's what happened. He destroyed.
He's the reason
Bowl.
for all the nonsense this year.
Well, I would say gets credit. It's funny to say he destroyed it and ruined it, but I think you say more. He gets credit for showing it was silly and finding a better solution. Liquid death is always a better solution.
Great stuff there by AJ Cole with our own Heidi Fang. Any parting words before Sunday? You excited?
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah?
This is the real...
Get there about 4 hours early?
It's the real Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, 4 hours
Hope
early...
you have a better parking pass than we do at the Raiders.
I don't think so. I think 4 hours early... 4 hours early would be 8 a.m. On a Sunday, that's probably not happening.
When's this thing kicking off?
I think noon?
Well, you better know. You're covering it for the newspaper.
Well, I'll know when I need to know. Almost late Saturday night, as I go to bed, I'll look and say, I got to be here at this time. That's when the game is? If it's at noon, I'll be there at 9:30.
You know, all right. All right, well, great stuff today. Good job getting Derek Carr last night. That was awesome. I'm sorry they descended upon you. That's going to do it for our latest edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct of the Vegas Nation, sponsored by Station Casinos, STN Sports, and presented by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Blue Wire, and the one and only Liquid Death. Remember now, there are new episodes of Vegas Nation 3 times a week. Subscribe to Vegas Nation on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any podcasting app. Find all that coverage and more at vegasnation.com. For our producer, Larry Meir, and my co-host, Adam Hill, I'm Ed Graney. Talk to you next week.
Breaking news as we in the show.
No, really?
Oh, yeah. Scott Turner, offensive coordinator for the Commanders, former offensive coordinator.
Not the Colts coach.
He will be the new passing game assistant for the Raiders. Just
passing
across the
game
wire.
Assistant?
Yes. You need many coaches.
Passing game assistant? I mean, I'd want to be the passing game coordinator. So he's an assistant to an actually passing game assistant?
Well, they've got Josh McDaniels calls the plays.
He calls the plays, and they have an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Mick Lombardi is coordinator.
Now they have a passing game assistant.
Passing game assistant.
All right, well.
Scott Turner, Norv's kid.
That is Norv's kid.
Yeah.
All right, Norv Turner's kid now coming to the Raiders. Big breaking news here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Raiders related, we got to close it out.
All right, close that out with news. We'll see you next week.